Here with Kenny the Jet Smith, inside the NBA on TNT. How you doing, Kenny?
Good, I'm doing well, man.
How do you like this new format, Team LeBron versus Steph Curry, as opposed to the East versus the West?
I still like it instead of Team Steph, Team Curry. I do like it as just still like North, South, East, West, but they get to pick. Because if I was a player, I wouldn't want to be on Team LeBron. I made the AllStar game. I'm not on his, AllStar East. But I do like the new format of picking. But I want to see it differently. I want to see it on Sunday, right on the court, just like in the park. I got him. I got him. I got him. I got him. Just like in the park. The whole fans would go crazy every time somebody get picked. The whole arena would just explode.
Yeah. So, non-basketball item, but you have like the hottest event, AllStar Weekend. What makes the event such a must-attend event?
Well, 17 years, man, and I think over the years it's just every year it's incremental, and now it's the mavens and tastemakers, but also what I do is it's a great mixture of eclectic people, and I think that's what's different. I think a lot of times when you go to events, AllStar Weekends, it's the basketball fans here, it's the hip-hop artists here, it's the basketball players here, it's whatever it might be. I think I just have an eclectic group of people, and it makes everybody feel comfortable. That's why it's like, and it's invite only, you can't pay to get in. So that makes it a little bit different too.
What are some of your most fond memories of the 17 years of doing the event?
So my fond memories of doing my All-Star event with JBL is, I would say, being on the stage last year with Wu-Tang.
Wow.
Like, I was like, that's a bucket list. Like, you're looking down this RZA, this Method Man, like, you're like, hey, there's, Raekwon, and you're like, wait a minute, I grew up like idolizing these guys, and they're performing. And it was impromptu. I didn't even know they were coming.
Wow.
So they just showed up. On stage, Fat Joe performs, and he just impromptu comes up, and they came up, and I'm standing on stage, and I'm the 19th member of the chamber. I became the 19th member.
How has this changed over the years since when you were a player, and like over the last 20 years? I mean, it seems like it's grown a lot. This weekend.
I think it's taking the Super Bowl feel kind of to it, but it's like the Super Bowl is the masses. Like everybody is trying to figure it out. This is like the people who still have albums. When you walk in, they got a little different taste. You know their taste. The All-Star Game is about like that. The Super Bowl, pretty much everybody can come be part of it. All-Star Weekend, with 20,000 seats, 23,000 seats. Select events. It's really like it's the tastemakers, man, of the sport, tastemakers of the culture. That's what makes it, I think, different. I would imagine even the brands, they do different. From the apparel and sneaker companies, they do different things at All-Star that they never would do at Super Bowl. Just a different feel.
You mentioned that like there are so many different subsets of the game. Is it cool for you to see all that collide here? Like you got sneaker people, you got hip hop, you got fashion.
Yeah. Well, basketball is the only thing that all of those kind of transpire. Sneaker wear obviously is fashion wear now. Apparel, athletic apparel is what you wear every day. The game is played anywhere. All you need is 94 feet. It's a different environment. Everyone's seeing while you're playing. It's a totally different environment than I've never put on a football uniform outside of actually playing the game. I never put on a baseball uniform outside of actually playing the game. So this is a whole different environment.
When you look at this crop of young point guards in this last draft, how do you just kind of assess with how they've come along?
I think they'll find a way. Obviously we haven't seen Fultz or Ball much, so it's hard to really play with. Those were supposed to be the best two. So, but Donovan Mitchell we thought was a two guard, and when when Hayward leaves, then all of a sudden he becomes the spotlight and focal point of the offense that we didn't see. So to me, we haven't really seen what it is yet. because Fultz and Ball are supposed to be the best too, and we haven't really seen them play.
Have you got a chance to see much of De'Aaron Fox at this point?
Yeah, Fox. I think overall he has a gear that none of them have. So he can dominate games a little bit easier because he's physically faster than guys. Where he doesn't always have to just say, you know what, I gotta put it between my legs, behind my back, I gotta hit you. You know what, I'm gonna just run by you. So for him, I think some things might come easier for him early.
I'm gonna build off that, Kenny. I've been looking at the point guards and the evolution of the position. I talked to guys from your era, Tim Hardaway, Mark Price, and I'm curious why there's a lot of examples of point guards being taken early in the draft, and their weakness is shooting. And if they don't ever develop that, if they do, of course, fine. But if they don't, what's the place in the league moving forward for a guy where maybe he used to be able to survive kind of running the offense and doing that, but guys who don't come around as shooters?
Well, the one thing that the things that guys get away with now, as a point guard, I would have had to fight every day in the locker room. If I came in and took 22 shots as a point guard, I'd have to fight every single player on my team, because they would all be upset.
Especially if you were missing 15 of them.
Well, no question. Well, now the expectation is for bigs to set picks so you can shoot those shots. So it's a different mentality, and it's not about making the point guard position. Isn't LeBron James is now the point guard who's really a small forward, power forward to make others better. Like the point guard position, it didn't matter how good you were. Your job was to make people better. Like that was the #1 job. Now that is the job of the superstar player to make everyone better. But when I came into the league and when I grew up, the job of the point guard, no matter who you were, you have to make everyone better, and then you can figure out what you can do. And that's definitely not the case
now,
anymore.
if you kind of can't make yourself better,
if you can't make yourself better, it's a selfie era now.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I look good. Now y'all want to look good with me? Jump in the picture.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It really is, it's acceptable. Which, it's hard for the traditionalists to kind of wrap their head around. Where the goal was to get the easiest shot. Now it's the goal of if you make 3 out of 10, it would take you to hit 5 out of 10 to actually be better than you. So that logic of analytics and acceptability is lent to guys and no hand checking. There are guys in the league who have great handles now because they get to show it. I know a lot of guys who used to handle like that in the park, but they just can't show it when a guy has his hand on you, and now you're able to do it. Different era.
In this era,
I don't know if I think the guys in our era could have survived in this era. I don't know if the other guys here could have survived because you can be a specialist now, and you could be where you had to be a total package guy to even make the league. The term two-way player didn't exist. Like, what do you mean? You can't play D? How can you play in the league?
Everybody was
you're like a two-way player. Like that was like now when guys get credit for being two-way guys, that was the preference. You don't see defenses pick up three-quarter court. So it's a much better game to watch, for sure. I like watching it better, but it's much easier to play in. It is easier to play in.
In terms of the Knicks having all the point guards now, with Moutier, Frank, Trey Burke, I mean, how do you see that situation, and what do you like about? They're all lottery picks. They're all under 25, and how do you like each one of them, and what do you think?
Well, I think they realize that Trey Burke is the backup. I think that is it. And I think they also probably feel that Moutier or Frank can move over and play together. Now, who's going to be the starter? That's up to that they're gonna have to fight for that. But I think at times, because of the size of both of them physically, that they can play together. When you have a guy like Porzingis who's a scorer, that they're both kind of facilitating for him to score the basketball and Cantor to score the basketball. So it's a different. Those two guys can actually play together.
Why do you think Moutier has been sort of? He didn't go like this in Denver, he went like that.
I think because when Murray came in and we just talked about the new age point guard of guys who just can specialize and pull out the bow and arrow and shoot the basketball, they stand out now in the way games are played because they're allowed to take 15 to 20 shots in a game, even when you're not making them. Where, so a guy like Moutier, who is a specialist, in terms of a playmaker rather, and that's a different environment for him. He'll play well with the Knicks because he doesn't have to be a scorer. With Denver, they need a guy to be a scorer. He'll play well with the Knicks because the Knicks need guys who can break down the defense off the dribble, and he'll be able to do that.
Is the French kid, 19 years old, the French league may have been a little slow. Like, do you see the struggles from him and the stuff?
Most rookies struggle, especially at the point. Not struggling is an abnormality. Struggling your first 2 years in the league is normal, and he's going to, I think he's going to figure it out because he has the length, he has the size, he has the ability. I think I like both of them. Man. I like Moutier. I really like Moutier in college, and I think that was a good pick for both for the Knicks. What they need. Now if they go to another place, they would stink the place up. But with the Knicks team, they're going to be really good.
You mentioned the new era. Is there any one guy out there who kind of blows your mind on a night-to-night basis?
Russell Westbrook. Like he's a freak. Like his ability to play the way he plays and be athletic every night. Like not the fact that he does it, but to be that explosive every night and not look like he has a day off or he's tired or he's got a sore leg or twisted ankle. He's still like it's first game of the season. Like, that's amazing. The physicality that he plays with and the explosion. Not even the numbers, just the explosion that he plays with. That's the guy that it's amazing.
How did the Cavs trade change the landscape of the NBA?
Well, they got younger. Right now they're in the honeymoon. Like, because when LeBron goes out the game, what's your defensive plan against him? You don't really have one. Because you don't know, like, Rodney Hood on the pick and roll, is he going to set it? Like, you don't know. So they got this honeymoon period where nobody has a game plan. We'll see, what that looks like in March, mid-March, when they go around the league a little bit and they go, okay, this is how they're going to play. I think they have a break right now, but I know LeBron is happy because I think he has guys that want to be led in the locker room. Not guys that he've already led, not guys that don't want to be led or don't need to be led. Like, I think he plays best when he has guys like this who are on the verge. They're not there. When J.R. Smith first got there, when Amon Shumpert first got there, like he led them and he showed them a way, and they were so eager and salivating to see what he's going to bring. I think that's what he has now.
How important on your Rockets teams, the second championship team, you guys added Drexler, who hadn't won a championship. How important is it to have guys on a team who are still hungry?
It's fat cat-itis, man. Like, I call it fat cat-itis when, you just get happy and fat. You just like, we had guys that used to come on the bus that never wore shades. They got shades and headphones on. They get their first little TV commercial. It's a different experience. And then now you got guys who never tasted any of it, and they're just like, yo, I want something. Yeah, that's big. That's a big change.
Kenny, you have any thoughts on potentially changing up the playoff structure? Do you think they'll ever move toward a 1 through 16?
I've been saying that for like 8 years, 10 years. I mean, the NBA fan doesn't care if the Rockets are playing the Golden State Warriors in the finals. Like, that's the finals. No one cares. It's like, they want to see the best two teams. I don't care if Harden is playing against Durant. Like,
even wouldn't the first round be more exciting if you could have OKC and Philly, or you just had some new matchups?
At least when you get to the Final 8 or Final 4.
Yeah.
Like, just all bets off. Like, Final 4, the East could be against West. Like,
what's the holdup?
This is social media. Like, there is no East or West anymore.
So what's the holdup?
I don't know. When we were growing up, I used to go, oh, he's from New York, just the way he dressed and walked. Oh, he's from LA. Like, we don't, like, there's no East-West, there's no culture, there's no bias, there's none of that anymore. There's like, LeBron changes teams every, KD changes teams. Nobody follows East-West like that. Right. It's not
the
same.
schedule shouldn't be that
The
big a
stage
problem.
is different. People don't even follow the world that way anymore. East versus West. Like, we don't follow
Everyone's
the world.
just in the same pool.
You didn't go when you come here, oh, I'm going to the West. You were like, I'm going to LA. Yeah, you know what I mean? But back when you were growing up, you were like, oh, I'm going to the West Coast. Oh, there's a palm tree. Like, no, it's Instagram, Facebook, no one's.
It'd be good. I hope they do it.
People didn't even know that the Kardashians live in LA. They think they live
All over the world.
All over the world. They're not like they're from the West. Like, that kind of environment exists differently.
When you look at some of these teams at the bottom of the standings,
Wait, before you come, would you care if, like, there wasn't an East Coast team or wasn't a West Coast team in the finals?
I wouldn't.
Right.
I hate
First
the
of all, there's
idea
not
you
going to
get
be
to
an
the
East Coast team in the finals. So there's
Yeah,
going to be a Midwest.
I hate the idea you get
Midwest
to the end.
team.
It's like, okay, the Western Conference Finals, that's really the finals.
Right.
You know.
I wouldn't care. Like,
I'd be excited about it.
I
I'd
wouldn't
love
be-
to see Houston and Golden State in the finals.
I just, and it's because it started out because there was no charter flights. And and then the media couldn't get from one city to the other, or there wasn't the amount of planes. That was the only reason that they did it. That's over now.
Yeah, not that anymore.
They've already changed
there's
the
a
divisions.
flight every hour going from Atlanta to LA.
Yeah.
Right? They got a flight every
They
week.
changed the division, so it used to be if you won your division, you got a top 4 seed, but they recognize they don't. If you're in a terrible division, you shouldn't be rewarded. So it's same for the conference.
Same for the conference. Same for the conference.
Can anybody knock off Golden State, and if so, how?
Well, we Cleveland has a shot. Obviously, Houston has a shot. But the one difference is everybody else, their best player has to play great. They're the only team that their best player doesn't have to play great. Doesn't. That's a huge 7 games. I could have 2-3 bad games and no one's gonna say anything. Like if Akeem Olajuwon had 3 bad games in any finals that we were in, or conference finals, we couldn't even survive. So that's Kevin Durant could get 11. Kevin Durant missed last year, like what, two rounds of the playoffs. Like no one even said anything. Like he missed the whole round of the playoffs. You can't survive. No other team can survive like that. But they could be beat, but they could survive when guys don't play well. That's the difference. They can be beat, but yeah, it's much bigger. They can survive. You don't have to. That's why they're struggling now, because it's boring. They know that I don't really have to be here, and it doesn't matter.
Do you think LeBron's going to LA this summer?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Golden State.
Man, no.
Too far.
Please, no.
If LeBron goes to Golden State, man, I think I'm going to start calling soccer.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to call basketball. I'm going to stop calling basketball. Yeah. I think I don't put anything past Magic. Now I know Rob Pelinka as well, but I don't put anything past Magic. Magic might have been setting this up 20 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know he went to see LeBron in Cleveland when he was in high school. Like he might have been setting this up then. I don't put nothing past Magic, man. Collusion 20 years ago. Pay that bill. Pay that bill, man.
Yeah. When you look at